Our next guest here on the Oakland County MegaCast. For so many people during the pandemic with hearing issues, they can feel even more so isolated. But new technology is helping them be connected to our entire community during the pandemic. And with us today on the Oakland County MegaCast is Jennifer Wellans. She's the National Outreach Lead for CapTel Outreach. Jennifer, thanks for being with us on the Oakland County MegaCast. And for those not familiar with CapTel, what exactly is it?
First of all, thank you so much for having me and helping me spread the word. As you mentioned, people feeling isolated is more of an issue now than ever. And when people have hearing loss and they struggle to hear on the phone, it really is a concern. You want to be able to communicate effectively. And our company, CapTel, we provide captioned telephones for people that have a hard time hearing on the phone, and we provide them for absolutely no cost. They are free. And some people have never seen a captioned phone, so I've got one with me.
We like show and tell. It helps us explain.
Yeah, show and tell.
Thank you.
I'm a very visual person, so this is what one looks like.
So it's almost like a teleprompter in your phone then.
It is. So what it is, like captions on your TV, it's the same thing, but for your phone. So this phone that I just showed you, it's amplified 4 times as loud as a regular phone. And then it also displays, as you can see, word for word what the other person is saying. So what you can't hear, you can now read. And some people with their hearing loss, you'll know louder doesn't make it better. Louder sometimes just makes it louder noise. And being able to comprehend what someone is saying is different than hearing what someone's saying. So the great part is if you're struggling to hear, you're just going to look on the screen and it's going to tell you what's being said. And it's a game changer for so many. Our parent company's been around for over 30 years, and I've been with them for over 5 years, and I am responsible for all of Michigan.
I like that you clarified that louder is not always better for people with hearing loss. Aside from the technology, just the day-to-day struggle right now with masks being required everywhere, how difficult is that for so many of your clients and people suffering from hearing loss right now? Because they rely on reading lips a lot of times to fill in those gaps.
Great question. So nowadays, I'm sure you may have seen them promote the masks that have the clear visor, plastic visor, so people can read lips. But the issue with that is it mutes the sound so significantly that it also, as much as it helps, it doesn't. So it's been interesting to find the different masks and the different equipment people have found so that they can be heard. But when you have hearing loss, and you are struggling to hear someone, whether it's in-person conversation or over the phone conversation, it's exhausting. And I mean physically exhausting. So one of the comments we get when people actually get our phone and they use it, they're like, I can actually enjoy myself on the phone. Instead of, using their brain and trying to hear every single word, they can relax and enjoy a conversation. And that is a beautiful, beautiful thing.
For us that maybe we encounter someone and we don't understand that they have a hearing loss or they need this technology, if we encounter them in a store or in, a social setting, how should we address them to make them feel more comfortable?
That's a wonderful question. There's a few things you can do. Actually, my number will be given out at some point. And so I just want to make sure people know that you can reach out to me whether you need a phone or not, because we have a great tip sheet. And this tip sheet is a two-way street, just like you're saying. One, it's for people that have hearing when they're speaking to someone with hearing loss. And on the other side of the tip sheet are tips for if you have hearing loss, how do you advocate for yourself? Because a lot of people are too shy or they don't want to bring it up. But it's important for both people to communicate effectively. So you want to make sure that you are looking at that person and they can see you face to face. So you don't want to talk to someone with your, with your back to them. You want to be able to look them in the eye. You want to speak slowly and clearly. Speaking louder, overly loud, doesn't help as much as being direct, speaking clearly, and enunciating.
And can you tell us more? I understand for those that do need the phones, how can they get them? And what is the cost associated with them?
I know. This is, believe it or not, this is the hardest part of what I do, is that these phones, they are completely free. And everyone's like, there's gotta be a catch. And there is no catch. These phones are provided free. So through the ADA, the Americans with Disabilities Act, it states every American has the right to a fair and equal way of communicating on the phone. So because of that, our program is fully funded through federal and state program. There is no cost to the end user. And people are, I just don't believe it. Well, I will tell you it is so, because we work throughout the entire state. We work with the VA, we work with audiologists, we work with geriatric doctors, internists, anyone that can help promote and spread the word about CapTel, because it is indeed as good as it says it is. And the process is so very easy. For those that have pen and paper around, I'm going to give you my number, but it'll also be given, I believe, at the end. My number is 248-550-6866. And the reason you want to call me is because if you or someone you know needs one of our phones, I will get this form to you. And this shows the 3 different styles of our phone, so you have multiple choices. And on the back is a super simple form with just your name, address, and phone number. And on the bottom, you take this to someone that can verify you have hearing loss. And that can be a doctor, a nurse, a veteran service officer, a hearing professional, a social worker. So they're just looking for a third party to verify that you would benefit from receiving this phone. And once the form gets signed, you can send it to me or fax it to the number on the form, and you get your phone. So a lot of people do ask, what's the quality, like how much hearing loss do I need to have? Or what if I don't wear hearing aids? You do not have to wear hearing aids. You just have to have a hearing loss. And that's because some people are too proud to admit they have hearing loss, and some people can't afford hearing aids. So hearing aids is not the determining factor. And it's not like on a scale of 1 to 10, there's some magic number of hearing loss. You just have to be able to benefit from having a captioned phone. So if you're struggling to hear on the phone, our job is to provide you with a phone so you can communicate effectively.
Jennifer Wellans with us on the Oakland County Megacast, National Outreach Lead at CapTel Outreach, with us today on the program. And Jennifer, much like those that are deaf and hard of hearing using a TTY, this is a very similar program for those with hearing loss that are still able to hear but maybe have some trouble on the phone. During the times that we're in, over the course of this pandemic, 7 months in, heading toward 8 months in, how much more vital have these programs that provide these kinds of resources to people with hearing loss and other hearing impairments been to keep them in communication with their families as they're keeping and their loved ones as they're keeping a safe distance?
Great question. Yeah. So normally in an average year, the busiest day of the year for us to have captions, for our captioning center to be working, the busiest day of the year normally is Mother's Day, right? Everyone's calling on Mother's Day, receiving calls, making calls. Since COVID has happened, it's been as busy, if not busier. Our captioning centers, the places where the captioning occurs to make sure that the words are accurate on the screen, they have just been doing an amazing job. They have worked all throughout this pandemic. I know we've hired more people because we want to make sure that the speed and accuracy of the captions are still at the same level it's always been. So the need is greatly there. And what we have found is because people aren't able to see each other in person, let's say you're living in a senior living community and your family's not allowed to come see you, for example, if they used to see you one-on-one and now they're relying solely on their hearing over the phone, the awareness of hearing loss has gone through the roof. And so because of that, our phones are also getting out there just in great numbers. And we are thrilled to do so. We really are thrilled to do so because it's a game changer, not only for social reasons, but also safety reasons. I've had people, our phones actually come with a built-in answering machine, so your answering machine messages come through with the captioning. But I have been in front of someone who would have taken medication that wasn't right for them because they couldn't hear their answering machine message from their doctor properly. So there's all these different applications of why hearing correctly on the phone is vital for people.
It definitely is. Jennifer Wellans with us here on the Oakland County MegaCast. Thank you so much for the service that you provide and the work that you're doing as well. And again, she is the national outreach lead for CapTel Outreach. If you feel like you need their services, you need one of these phones, please don't be too proud. Go ahead and reach out 248-550-6866. Jennifer, again, thank you so much for being with us. We so appreciate it, and we appreciate what you're doing.
Thank you so very much. And lastly, I just want to say our phones are made in the USA, and we are very proud of that. And we actually invented the technology. So as you said, if you need a phone, please connect with me and we will get you taken care of, I promise.